kushirikiana na serikali ili ifanyike kwa Wakenya wote pamoja. Kwa sababu haya ODM
Nairobi, assalamu alaikum. Bwana asifiwe. Hebu nione kwa mkono watu wa Nairobi, nione watu wa Nairobi. Vile baba amesema, hayawi. Jamii zote za Kenya pamoja. Dini zote za Kenya pamoja. Sehemu zote za Kenya pamoja. Tupige hatua ya kwenda mbele kwa pamoja. Tushirikiane. Tufanye kazi kwa pamoja. Hebu nione wale wanasema tumekubaliana tuungane.
Some people ask me why did I decide to run for that position. And I say that I was approached by senior leaders on the continent who, when they saw that that position was becoming vacant, they needed somebody with a Pan-Africanist ideology to go and try to set that movement in the right path so that it can achieve the objectives for which the founding fathers formed it. So they then sent the former Nigerian president, President Obasanjo, to me to come and persuade me to run. And after a lot of soul searching, I made a decision. And some of you will have seen me with President Obasanjo on my side when I announced that I was going to run for the position of African Union Chair. I did not expect to be supported by the Kenya government. But out of blues, President Ruto announced that he would support my candidature. I thought this is a better way to get rid of him. Good riddance. I would say that, irrespective of the motives, he actually was genuine because he followed that announcement by giving full support to my candidature. As you know, you cannot run for the chair of African Union without being sponsored by your home government. You cannot just sit somewhere there and say, Mimi ni Professor Kithure Kindiki, I want to be a chairman of African Union. You will not even be seen. Your name must be presented by a government official through the embassy of Kenya in Addis Ababa. And this they did. Not only that, they put also the machinery behind my campaign. And President Ruto himself called various presidents and made appointments for me and also persuaded them to support my candidature. He himself invited the president from East Africa, here in Nairobi, to basically adopt me as a candidate for the Eastern region. And this they did. So Kenyan ambassadors in all those foreign countries were also informed and that they would support my candidature. And whenever I went to, they received me at the airport, took me to the hotels, and also took me to meet with the president. I was able to meet more than 40 presidents on the continent. And I traveled Africa from east to west, south to north, like never before. As you know that I have been the high representative of the AU on issues of infrastructure. So I'm not actually strange to these issues, to the continent. But it gave me a better opportunity to now understand problems facing many African countries firsthand from the leadership of the continent.
My support for Raila Odinga is not conditioned on him supporting me or him surrendering his aspirations for whatever reason. It was very clear to me that this support was deserved as a Kenyan. And I said then, and I will say again, that the Honorable Raila Odinga was a great candidate. He went out of his way. He ran a beautiful campaign, and I'm very proud of his candidature. The outcome notwithstanding. And when he came back, we have been working together in the broad-based arrangement that we have that is inspired not by what is in it for me or him, but how we can close ranks and deal with the issues that affect the people of Kenya. We undertake this commitment with the understanding that while our political parties may differ in strategy, we share a common goal to build a united, secure, and prosperous Kenya under a government that is capable, committed, and willing to ensure abundance and opportunity for all without exception. This realization has enabled Kenya's largest political movements to engage constructively, recognizing the unique opportunity before us. As leaders and as a generation of citizens, we must embark on a bold and radical path of national transformation, confronting and resolving the fundamental issues that have shaped every national crisis since independence.
A hand applause to the two party leaders as the two Secretary Generals confirm that they have fully signed together with our legal personnel. Applause. I will now ask Your Excellencies.
Number 4, promoting and protecting the livelihoods of young people. Urgent and massive investment must be made in all high potential sectors of the economy, including mining, blue economy, agriculture, and ICT, to create sufficient employment opportunities that provide ways for young people to earn a decent living. Nationwide economic stimulus programs must therefore be initiated. Young people must also be mainstreamed in all political spaces to bring their voices to the table and their participation to the center of all activities. Number 5, leadership and integrity. Kenyans are concerned by the expression of opulence, accompanied by rude and arrogant conduct of public officers, and the apparent impunity that has followed the same. It must be enforced that the demeanor of public servants needs to reflect the dignity of their offices and the respect owed by them to the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. We must also urgently provide a legal and institutional framework for addressing conflict of interest among public servants. Number 6, the right to peaceful assembly and protest under Article 37 and compensation of all pending claims of abuse and derogation of their rights. Derogation of the rights to peaceful assembly and protest remains one of the most shameful realities of the excesses of Kenya's law and order responses since independence. The effort to uphold this right must now involve not just the taking of responsibility by officers who break the law, but also by compensation of the victims of these derogations. An amnesty must be granted to all those who are charged for offenses based on the exercise of their right to peaceful assembly. The National Police Service must update their methods and processes of dealing with demonstrations and assemblies when they are held, and particularly when they have to be managed or contained. 7, the national debt. The urgent audit must be conducted of how much has been borrowed in the past and how it has been used. Going forward, we must stop the ballooning of the national debt and ensure accountability for future borrowing. Lastly, we must ensure that borrowed money is used in all manners that grants an equitable benefit to all Kenyans in every region of the country, since payments are made by all from taxes regardless of their locations. Number 8, the fight against corruption. Kenya needs to move from talk to action. We must move from the fight against corruption to winning the war against corruption. We must enhance the capacity of institutions that enforce accountability, and particularly the offices of the Auditor General, the Controller of Budget, and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. 9, stopping wastage of public resources and promoting government efficiency. A new ethos of public expenditure in both national and county governments must be inculcated in a manner that promotes austerity, justification, and effectiveness in the use of public resources. Number 10, protecting and promoting the sovereignty of the people, the rule of law, and constitutionalism. The rule of law requires that government and its officers to obey court orders and only challenge the validity of judicial pronouncements through legal processes. The specter of abductions and extrajudicial killings do not bode well for democracy. Suppression of constitutional freedoms, including speech, expression, assembly, and media, must stop. Furthermore, political parties, being key pillars of democratic participation, must be strengthened. The two leaders resolve to respect the identity and integrity of all political parties and to ensure respect and implementation of the provisions of the Political Parties Act. The dialogue and collaboration between the two leaders shall achieve its objectives by A, holding regular consultations on pressing issues of interest to the people of Kenya and exchanging expertise and information on best practices in the governance of the Republic of Kenya, and the two leaders shall deploy their political infrastructure to examine the above matters and any other issues requiring their attention, and shall engage necessary expertise that will assist them in addressing the matters arising. Signed, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, Party Leader of the UDA, and also to be signed by His Excellency the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, EGH, Party Leader of the Orange Democratic Movement.
Never before have Kenyans expressed such a deep and widespread yearning for positive change and political, economic, and socio-economic transformation that leaves nobody, no community, no region, no religion behind. The expectation for fundamental progress is unanimous, consistent, intense, and universal across the nation. There is no one part of Kenya that does not yearn for progress and transformation. These aspirations, grounded on our nation's enduring character of boldly pursuing freedom, democratically managing our diverse interests, and engaging progressive institutions such as a clear notice for all of us that the time has come for us to seize this historic opportunity, unite more strongly than ever before, and deliver meaningful change to the Kenyan people. I must congratulate His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and the courage he has to make difficult decisions. Not many leaders can make the kind of decisions the Right Honorable Raila Odinga can make. Very few people can put the interests of the nation and the interests of the people above or ahead of their own personal interests. I say that without fear of any contradiction, because I know the kind of difficulty my elder brother has got to go through in getting us to this position. And my brother Raila Odinga, history is going to charge you fairly for what you have done for this nation. Equally, we will fight corruption decisively, eliminate public resource wastage, and uphold the rule of law and constitutionalism, ensuring that government officials respect judicial decisions and protect the rights of all citizens. Our collective goal is a just, equitable, and prosperous Kenya for all of us. I am not doing this so that for any other reason that is selfish to me. I am doing this because I'm a younger person. You are an elder as far as I'm concerned, by age. And the contribution you have made to this Kenya deserves respect and deserves support. And that is the relationship I have built with the Honorable Raila Odinga. And I am very clear in my mind that going into the future, it will take more than Raila Odinga and myself. It will take every one of us to pull this country together and to achieve the things that will change Kenya. The moment is not about William Ruto or Raila Odinga. This agreement, this memorandum of understanding is not about sharing positions or winning elections. It is about the people and the interests of Kenya. That is what is significant. To me, the interests of this great nation. We have talked about Kenya of potential for far too long. It is now time that we close ranks as leaders, because this nation can succeed. We have what it takes to be a great nation. But we haven't made the steps and the decisions that would make this nation great, because we have always been making politically correct decisions. We need to make decisions that are correct as far as the interests of the people of Kenya are concerned. We, the leaders of UDA, Kenya Kwanza, and ODM, commit to implementing the NADCO report to address key national issues, including the cost of living, youth unemployment, and gender inclusion. We also pledge to foster inclusivity in governance and development, protect and strengthen devolution, invest in creating opportunities for the youth, uphold integrity in leadership, and safeguard the right to peaceful assembly. We will raise and manage national resources responsibly to reduce our debt burden by ensuring transparency, responsible borrowing, and an audit of past debts. To realize and to know what has been borrowed for what purpose, and how is it going to be paid? This is the path towards the promised land where freedom and opportunity are guaranteed for all. We recognize that this moment is unlike any other. It is not enough to merely identify systemic and structural obstacles that have denied generations a fair chance to achieve their aspirations. More importantly, we must rise above political differences and embrace a higher vision of the Kenya we all deserve. Understanding, therefore, that jobs, wealth, enterprise opportunities, and social services must be provided within an environment that is free, open, democratic, and competitive, we move forward with a shared commitment that is not only doing the right thing for our nation, but also to ensuring they are done right.
We are here to witness as you and His Excellency Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga sign this MOU, which forms a framework of how we will work together as the two largest political parties. Your Excellency, as you've been told, you and His Excellency the Prime Minister are leaders of the two largest political parties in the country. That means, Your Excellency, that you also bear a greater responsibility than any other political parties or political leaders in the country. Because you are leading the two largest political parties in the country, you also bear a greater responsibility to Kenyans and to the world. And part of that great responsibility is to ensure the unity of our country and the prosperity of our country. And as we have heard from the two SGs of the political parties, this will form a framework for the cooperation of you two as leaders of those parties and the unity of our country led by the two political parties, the two largest political parties.
Today, you have signed a memorandum of understanding between Orange Democratic Movement and the United Democratic Alliance. The cardinal goal of the MOU is to help ease the prevailing tensions in the country, reconcile the population, alleviate their suffering, and move the country forward by addressing the critical social, political, and economic issues our people are grappling with today. As leaders of the largest political parties in the country, we arrived at the understanding that in a time of significant changes and challenges to our nation, it is not enough to merely grandstand or stand aside and criticize, easy as those may be. They say, any madman can kick down a barn, but it takes a good carpenter to build one. We have agreed to help build a barn for our country, rather than merely kick down what we have. We have agreed to use our parties as a broad platform, bringing together various voices, opinions, and concerns to address the critical challenges facing the country through a formation that is truly national and inclusive in outlook. A core problem we agreed to prioritize is youth unemployment and resulting hopelessness that has made them easy fodder in political contests in which there's nothing tangible for them. In this MOU, we agree to embark on steps to realign the country's economic, social, and political priorities to address the youth agenda that has progressively fallen behind in the last 62 years of our independence. Through this MOU, we commit to uphold the Constitution, the rule of law, and respect for human rights. Importantly, we pledge to tackle unemployment, cost of living, crippling poverty, inequality, and the failure of the institutions that have been eroded by inefficiency and corruption over the decades, making them unable to deliver to Kenyans. We seek a more equitable country in which all peoples of all backgrounds are included in the enjoyment of socio-economic benefits and are equal members of one indivisible nation. All Kenyans must feel that they belong here by right and the right to access, without any form of discrimination, whatever Kenya has to offer. We commit to protect and to strengthen devolution as a machinery for ensuring a more inclusive development across the country. In this regard, we will be tabling a proposal that the unbundling of functions that has been recently concluded, counties should get not less than 450 billion shillings in the 2025-2026 financial year. We will also seek the faithful flow of funds to political parties, being vehicles for the channeling of hopes and aspirations of the people. We will use this platform to revisit the constitutional provisions on leadership and integrity, corruption in public life, fundamental freedoms like free speech, protests and assembly, and preservation of the rule of law. We recognize that many of the issues this country is struggling with are as old as the country itself. It will take mutual trust between leaders and the creation of a conducive environment for them to be tackled with honesty and objectivity in a broadly constituted formation. As leaders of our parties, we commit to hold regular consultations on pressing issues, exchange expertise and information on the best practices in the governance of the Republic of Kenya, and facilitate and participate in public activities of interest to the people of Kenya that relate to their problems. We make it clear that the memorandum we have signed today does not define the formation of a political coalition between ODM and UDA. However, its successful implementation could inform the basis of steps toward the establishment of a broadly constitutive and progressive formation for a stable country in future. We urge all Kenyans who are interested in having a stable, inclusive, and progressive country, devoid of grandstanding and alienation of whole communities and regions, to rally behind this formation in the interest of our nation. God bless Kenya. Thank you.